What if a world made of cubes became a real movie? Yeah, you heard me right. No curves, no realistic characters, only blocks. And all of these is looking good on big screen. Alright, take your snacks and let's look behind this movie. Minecraft is one of the most iconic games of our time. But while it looks great on a player's screen, how do you bring that famous blocky style into a full movie without losing the magic, without losing the spirit of the game? Back in 2012, Warner Bros. Started talking about making a Minecraft movie, and right away they hit the big question: how to make a world of cubes feel real?
Everything is cubic, like everything is blocks.
To create the film from scratch, the team had to tackle tons of visual and technical challenges. The VFX team, led by Dan Lemon, known for The Jungle Book and Avatar, had one mission: keep the pixel look, but make it feel real. Dan Lemon, the VFX supervisor for the film, explained that Minecraft's design was so abstract that it was almost like a Rorschach blot. People could interpret the game in different ways, which meant that the team needed to stay true to its essence while adapting it for the movie. But there were also early problems they faced, like no curves allowed, rigid animations, characters moving like wooden dolls. How to make a stick-legged spider move smoothly? Their solution was bold and a little controversial. They gave the blocky creatures joints. Without breaking the blocky shape, they added more natural movement.
By working with people who play, love, and care about the game as much as you do.
On screen, the game world was turned into a living environment. Blocky trees cast real shadows and cubes had texture, but what, like real stone or ice. Imagine stepping into a film set, putting on a suit covered in tracking markers, and then playing an Enderman or a spider, or even worse, a creeper. No face, no emotions, just that unique walk and those signature movements. How is that even possible? That's where motion capture comes in, a technology that's long been a staple of modern cinema. But adapting it to the world of Minecraft? That's a whole different level of challenge. Minecraft is a world where everything is square, literally. So how do they film emotional, expressive scenes when the characters can barely move like real people? The creators decided to make the world feel alive, because it really needs real actors inside it. Motion capture setup was used for the first time in this type of movie. I mean where every actor's movement was captured almost in real time. They used 2 layers of tech at once, body and muscle tracking. To capture movement dynamics, face capture cameras built into helmets. To record tiny facial expressions. This made it possible to bring not only the main characters to life, but even the mobs. Yes, most of the Minecraft creatures weren't just CGI models, but they were played by actors or stunt performers. That's why even a skeleton standing still on screen somehow feels human. To stay true to the blocky style, every movement was adjusted to match the game's animation logic. Even during jumps or running, actors practiced keeping their bodies as stiff as possible, so movements looked choppy, just like in Minecraft. Another cool detail, 90-degree head turns. In the game, characters don't turn their heads smoothly. They snap, one chunk at a time. To reflect that, actors trained in special mechanical turns of the head and body. The result? Choreography that looked like a body obeying a code. One more touch. Mob reaction delay. In Minecraft, mobs take about half a second to react, like they're loading what just happened. This was built into performances too. Actors played with micro delays to match the game's feel exactly. Monsters in Minecraft aren't just enemies, I would say that they're some kind of symbols. In the game, they're simple, but in the movie, they need to be scary, maybe even funny, and that's all while still looking pixelated. Can you really make the audience feel something if the creature doesn't even have a face? On set, there were no mobs, not a single one. They were fully digital, and that helped keep the game-like abstraction alive. The filmmakers made a decision. Mobs shouldn't be realistic. Hey, need to be recognizable. Zombies were given stiff, broken motions with no smooth transitions, just like in the game. Their walk was built around stepped motion, the kind where a leg lifts, pauses midair, then drops. That weird lag? Every Minecraft player knows it well. Creepers were a whole different story. Their arrival in the film always builds tension. First it was silence, then that hiss, a pause, and boom. Endermen were possibly the hardest mob to portray, to be honest. A little easier was the fact that they don't speak, they don't rush. But their movements feel like teleportation, even though it's just clever editing and tracked animation. To emphasize that these mobs aren't real creatures, their animation was made intentionally simple. Not photorealism, but broken logic. Minecraft doesn't have a story, there are no quests, no cutscenes, no guiding voice. They started with nothing and you decide who you want to be. A builder, an explorer, a hunter, or just a farmer. So when a studio decided to make a full-length Minecraft movie, the first question was, how do we write a story for a game that has none? You can't just adapt a game level or boss fight simply because those don't exist here. That actually was the main challenge. Not just writing a plot, but writing a plot that felt Minecraftly. The writers didn't focus on the game itself, but on the players, looking not into the game's code, but into the familiar emotions every Minecraft fan has felt. That first night hiding in a dirt shelter, the fear of the unknown, the pride of building something alone, or the joy of building something with others. That's how the story was born. Not about saving the world, but about building it together. And when that world begins to fall apart, not because of evil, but because of differences between people, a real conflict takes shape. The film follows a group of friends who find themselves inside the Minecraft world. But instead of one shared goal, each of them sees this world differently. One wants to survive, another wants to explore and experiment. Someone wants to destroy everything and build something new, while the main heroine tries to keep things in balance. There is no main villain in the movie. The real conflict comes from the differences between players, their individual goals, personal egos, and the way each of them sees the world. One of the characters eventually betrays the group, not because he is evil, but because he wants to create his own version of the world. Something built from his own vision. He is not the antagonist, just another player with a different idea of what that world should be. And that's the heart of the conflict. A group of people all trying to build something together, but struggling because none of them fully agree on what the perfect world actually looks like. When you hear the word Minecraft, you probably imagine something simple. Green squares for grass, flat pixelated trees, a sky with no clouds, and that familiar square-shaped sun, which makes the game's world feel more functional than artistic. And that's exactly why one of the biggest challenges for the film's artist was figuring out how to transform that minimalist, blocky universe into something visually epic and emotionally resonant, without ever betraying what makes it so recognizable. Before creating any sets or environments, the team of artists went through a full visual analysis of the game, from its earliest builds to the newest updates, carefully studying how biomes, cave systems, natural structures, and strange formations have evolved over time, and realizing that simply copying those visuals wouldn't be enough for a cinematic experience. Because in film, every shot has to serve the emotion of the moment. So instead of treating the world as a backdrop, they turned each biome into a character with a specific dramatic role. Jungles became chaotic mazes for chase scenes, deserts were visual metaphors for loneliness, mountains represented a physical and emotional climb, and caves captured the feeling of fear and the unknown, often serving as the setting for moments of tension or confrontation. To express all this on screen, the team switched between first-person, player-style camera views and wide cinematic shots that revealed the massive scale of builds and landscapes, while carefully designed structures like temples, villages, and burial sites were first built using real Minecraft blocks and then enhanced in CGI, not to make them prettier, but to preserve that blocky charm, while adding just enough detail to sell the illusion. Minecraft isn't just a game, but it's millions of stories created by the players. There are no NPCs to guide you, but there are videos, fan art, servers, memes, theories, and all of that has become the real culture of Minecraft. That's why the community didn't just inspire the film, it became a part of it. The team followed fan content for years, not to market the movie, but to understand what feels right in the Minecraft world. So, in the movie, characters place blocks under their feet to climb, pull items out of nowhere, and build messy but familiar looking structures, just like in the game. Easter eggs are hidden everywhere. Classic sounds, old mob textures, chat windows, joke signs, even half-finished redstone builds that only real players will recognize. Most viewers won't notice all of it, but true fans will instantly feel, that was for me. Even the myths, like Harebreen or strange messages on cave walls are there. Not as plot points, but like legends you'd hear on an old server. And the best part, like the movie doesn't explain the world, it just plays by the rules. Like it doesn't say how blocks work, it shows you. It doesn't tell you why the bow is in the left hand. It just is. This isn't a tutorial, it's a moment of recognition. And if you've ever played Minecraft, you'll feel it right away. Making a Minecraft movie was never just about fun. It was about speaking to everyone who ever touched the game. Whether you're a kid just starting out, a teen building mega projects, or an adult who remembers mining through the night years ago. The creators knew this wasn't just a kid's film. It had to be a story that works on many levels. An adventure for children, something cool and nostalgic for teens, and emotional depth for adults. Every scene had to hit differently depending on who's watching. That's why they wrote it with layers. The action is fun to watch. The story has real stakes. And if you're older, you'll catch the deeper themes about loneliness, teamwork, creativity, and even growing up. There's a scene where a character builds a tiny shelter on their first night, and while kids just see monsters, adults might see someone trying to protect themselves in more ways than one. Even the jokes are made to work for everyone. Some are simple and visual. Others are smart references to game logic or real life. Like jokes about resource management or those "don't dig straight down" signs we've all seen. And like the game, the film doesn't explain everything, it shows. It lets the audience feel, imagine, and find their own meaning. Whether you're 8 or 30, you'll enjoy it, but for different reasons. This isn't just another animated movie. This is Minecraft, and it's been made by people who grew up loving it for people who still do.